There is a war being waged against the modern man, and the most dangerous thing about it is that most men don't even know they are in it. It is not a war fought with weapons or force. It is far more subtle than that. It is fought through pleasure, through instant gratification, through the systematic dismantling of a man's drive, his focus, his depth, and his ability to truly connect with another human being. And it begins earlier than you think. Before a young man has had the chance to form his own thoughts about the world, about relationships, about what it means to be close to another person, he is handed a distorted, weaponized version of all of it. Explicit content is more accessible today than any generation in human history. A few clicks, no age verification that actually works, no filter, no context. And so the developing mind, still forming, still impressionable, still trying to understand what love and connection and intimacy actually mean, absorbs this as truth, as normal, as the standard. But it is none of those things. What it actually is a carefully engineered product designed to hijack the most powerful reward system in the human brain, dopamine. The same chemical that drives motivation, ambition, and genuine human connection is being triggered artificially, repeatedly, at a scale the brain was never designed to handle. And the mind adapts. It always does, but not in the way you want it to. The first thing it steals is your perception. When a young man's understanding of intimacy is built on a foundation of explicit content, he enters the real world of relationships with a completely distorted lens. Real connection, which is slow, vulnerable, imperfect, and deeply beautiful, cannot compete with something engineered purely for stimulation. And so the woman in his life, a real, complex, layered human being, is unconsciously measured against an unrealistic, manufactured illusion. Not because he is a bad person, but because his perception was shaped before he even had the chance to think for himself. He finds himself unable to fully appreciate what is right in front of him, unable to be fully present, unable to connect at the depth that both he and she deserve, and neither of them may ever fully understand why. But it goes even deeper than relationships. There is something that lust in its weaponized form takes from a man that is almost impossible to put into words. His innocence, his sensitivity, his capacity for genuine wonder and real feeling. Because when the reward system is overstimulated for long enough, everything else begins to feel dull by comparison. The simple pleasures of life, the ones that once moved you, inspired you, drove you, lose their color. Ambition fades, discipline weakens. The fire that once lived in a man begins to quietly go out. This is not weakness of character, this is neuroscience. This is what happens to a brain conditioned to expect maximum stimulation for minimum effort. Lust in this form is not natural desire. Natural desire is one of the most powerful creative forces a man possesses. It drives him to build, to pursue, to become. What we are talking about is something else entirely. It is desire hijacked, weaponized, turned against the very man it lives inside. And here is perhaps the most painful truth of all. It robs you blind before you even realize anything has been taken. You don't notice the moment your standards for real connection quietly shifted. You don't notice the moment your attention span shortened, your drive dulled, your emotional depth began to thin. You don't notice the moment presence in your relationships became harder, appreciation became rarer, and genuine intimacy began to feel somehow out of reach. You just wake up one day and something feels missing, something feels off, and you don't know what it is or when it left. This is the nature of the trap. It doesn't announce itself. It simply takes, slowly, consistently, invisibly, until the man looking back at you in the mirror is a quieter, smaller, less alive version of who you were always meant to be. Awareness is where freedom begins. You cannot fight what you cannot see, but once you see it, truly see it, you cannot unsee it. And that moment of clarity is the beginning of reclaiming everything that was taken. Your perception, your presence, your depth, your fire. The modern man faces battles his ancestors never imagined, but the oldest truth still holds. Know yourself, and in knowing yourself, you take back your power. Welcome to Know Thyself.